In 2016, Donald Trump ran on a promise of fewer foreign adventures, considering the ones we'd embarked upon didn't work very well. He vowed instead to focus on our problems here at home, which are growing. Against the odds, he won that election, probably because of that promise. But ever since, Washington, including some around the president, have been committed to ignoring the results of that election and its implications. Washington has wanted war with Iran for decades. They've been working toward it. They may have finally gotten it. Douglas Macgregor is a retired U.S. Army colonel. He's an author of the fantastic book Margin of Victory, a frequent guest on the show, and he joins us tonight. Colonel, thanks so much for coming on. Where do you think we're likely to go from here?
Well, I'm told that tomorrow the Iraqi parliament is going to vote overwhelmingly to demand the removal of our forces from Iraq. If that's the case, I sincerely hope that President Trump will take advantage of it and get us out. We should have been out of Iraq and Syria a long time ago, as the president pointed out, as you have reiterated. We gain nothing by staying in the country whatsoever. If these strikes, the follow-up strikes that we've had this evening, are designed to warn off the Iranians, we're going to leave but don't follow us, then that makes some sense militarily. But if we are going to fight the Iraqi order to leave and insist that we stay, then we're setting ourselves up for a larger disaster. As for the act of killing Soleimani, I think we can say with some certainty that Iran will respond. Probably not in the way that we would. The Iranians are not like us. They do not emote. You've been listening to people emote about how much they hate Soleimani and blame the failure in Iraq on Soleimani. That's nonsense. We failed in Iraq. The generals and the politicians are responsible for the loss of American life and the squandering of our opportunities in Iraq. Soleimani simply took advantage of it. And Iran now controls Iraq. And after this airstrike and killing of Soleimani, we've actually forced them together. Because the people of Iraq may not like the Iranians, but they don't necessarily want their country turned into a battleground between the United States and Iran. So I hope we'll just leave. That's the key. If we get out, then we're going to have to watch for what the Iranians are likely to do. And we can talk about that if you like.
My strong sense is that the president's preference is to leave, that it's always been, that he's sincere when he says he doesn't want regime change, and he's not trying to start a new war. He understands that those are not in America's interest, and they're not in his interest either, politically. I'm wondering, though, if the people around him understand that.
Look, he walked into a room at Mar-a-Lago with Senators Rubio and Graham, Secretary of State Pompeo, National Security Advisor O'Brien, the Secretary of Defense Esper, and I assume Jared Kushner. You're talking about a room full of neocons. You're talking about the people that you've been discussing that have been urging war with Iran forever. They seem to have persuaded him that this airstrike made sense and that we should take the opportunity and do it. And publicly, he's said that. I think it was probably unnecessary for the reasons that I've already outlined. This is not going to do anything for us strategically. As far as sending the message is concerned, his deputy has already taken over. The deputy has been with him since '97. This is going to stiffen resolve against us, and it's going to make any attempt to reach any arrangement with Iran virtually impossible. So from that standpoint, I don't think it made a lot of sense. It's not necessarily helping us in what the president says he wants to achieve in the Persian Gulf with Iran.
And quickly, and finally, do you think it's likely, if the Iraqi parliament issues a demand that Americans leave Iraq tomorrow, that we will?
Again, I hope so. We have to recognize that Iran is a sovereign state. It has a sovereign government, whether we like it or not. If they tell us to leave, we should get out. Absolutely no question. And I think President Trump should seize the moment, frankly, and get us out.
I think he'd be relieved to do that, and in which case this would all be, I think, a win for our country. Colonel, thanks so much. Douglas Macgregor, great to see you.
Thank you.